Hello, I'm Sensei Clay. This is my son Cameron. We both attend Allegheny Shotokan Karate. This is our training video here for this evening. Let's go ahead and get started on things. First, we're going to go ahead and do our normal warm-ups. So start by rolling your necks. Yaku. Yome. Stagger yourself so that you can go ahead and get some arm circles rolling. Nice and big so that you get your arms nice and limber. Yaku. Yome. Back and forth. Yome. Start twisting that belt. Make sure that you get yourself moving nice and fast on those hips nice and loose. And Yame. Bring your knees together. Go ahead and rotate them. Loosen everything up. Other way. We want to go towards what is my left and your right. Go ahead and get a nice deep stretch. Keep your shoulders and hips in line and get a nice deep stretch. Other way. Again, nice deep front stance. Shoulders and hips are in a line and let it sink down. Stretch it out. Onto the other side. We want to do this again, going onto our back toes. Drop that front or that back knee down as far as you can, keeping yourself, again, nice and straight. You should feel a stretch here in the front part of your leg. Arms out to the side. Nice reach up and touch down. Roll it over. Make sure your front foot is pointing towards the ceiling. Sink down. You notice Cameron has his back foot nice and flat. That's where you want to try to go with things here. Back up and let's do the other side. Towards my right and your left. Back toes up, sink down nice and deep. Get that knee to almost touch, but don't. Arms out to the side again. Reach up and touch down. Pivot over. Again, get those front toes pointed to the ceiling. And try to sit down as much as you can. Sit down. From here, we want to do some stomach exercises quickly. Well, all the way back, we just want to do stomach crunches. Whenever you do these, make sure that you're getting your shoulder blades up off the ground. We don't have to come into a full sit-up, but we do want to get good solid crunches. So, lean back and begin. Ich, ni, song, chi, go, roku, sichi, hachi, ku, ju, ju ich, ju ni, ju song, ju chi, 7, you can see, my Japanese is not always as good as it should be. Turn your belts. Like to get 25 good solid push-ups in. Key on this here is make you do a good push-up. Straight back, nice and easy down, nice and easy up. Do as many as you can correctly. Like a bad push-up, but many of them is worse than doing a good push-up, but less. So let's get 25 of those. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 25. And up. Now we're going to move into our 4 stations for this evening. First station is simply going to be lunges for 1 minute. What that means is you're just going to take a nice big step forward, big step back. Alternate with the other leg. Big step forward and big step back. 1 minute. Ready? Begin. When you do these, you want to try and make sure that you keep your hands up as if you're in a fighting stance. Keep a nice, steady rhythm throughout the exercise. Our next station is going to be alternating front kicks and side kicks. So make sure that you have enough space in order to do this. And if there's anyone else in the room with you, make sure that you have enough space from them so that you don't hit them. But basically what we want to do is, from our fighting stance or from our upright stance, you're going to kick forward and down. Then alternate to the side, out to the side and down. Same thing with the other leg. Kick forward and down, kick to the side and down. Back and forth, we're going to do that for 1 minute. And begin. Throughout the exercise, you want to make sure you're keeping yourself as in line as you possibly can. Bend only whenever you have to on the side kicks. And still keep yourself in control. You don't want to do what I refer to as the car sales crazy man. We've all seen them. The air-filled noodle people that sit there and flail themselves all over them. Our next station is a diagonal step and return. It's very similar to the lunges that we did earlier, but this one is now going to be on a diagonal. So it's to start going to your left, return. Start turning out to your right and return. out to your left and back. We'll do that for 1 minute. And begin. To your left, to your right. Still keep your hands up. Don't let them flop all over the sides or off to the side. You want to keep them up nice and straight in front of you. Keep a nice rhythm. Again, if you have another partner in here in the room with you, make sure you have enough space that you don't collide into each other. Our last station, it's very simple. 2 alternatives, 2 ways to do it. First one is simply to just jog in place. Second changes to act as if you were jumping rope, or if you have a jump rope, go ahead and grab that and jump rope for 1 minute. Cameron and I are going to go ahead and we'll just jog in place here for this minute. As you can see, we have a ceiling fan here that makes using a jump rope a little difficult. So 1 minute on the clock, jog in place. Begin. You want to, again, keep your hands up. As we're moving, we're jogging. An adaptation, if you would like, is you can also throw a jab, alternating back and forth. But if you do that, make sure that you don't lose your rhythm. Now that we should be good and warmed up here, I want to get into the meat of what tonight's lesson is. There are many, many times whenever we wind up getting into a sparring match in which we wind up trying to figure out where it is that we want to go. We don't always remember or recall how we want to get there. And so a lot of times we'll see crazy overextensions. We'll see people getting themselves out of their bodies out of position. So tonight's lesson is to focus on the things that will allow us to have good movement, but also have good posture and good stance. So what we don't want to do, what we're trying to eliminate, is whenever you see someone that is in a sparring situation and they wind up doing something along those lines, or they're chasing someone constantly and they have themselves completely out of posture. First drill that we're going to do here tonight is very similar to the lunges that we started off with. It is a shuffle step forward though. What I want you to concentrate on is get into your fighting stance, and whatever direction that you are going to be going, we're going to start off with just forward and back. That foot, whichever direction you are going, is going to be the one that moves first. This allows you to explode and push off on this supporting foot. So when we move forward, it looks like this. I take a step forward, and I can do it again, take a step forward. Same thing happens whenever I go backwards. Pick up my back foot, push, back foot, push. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward and back for about a minute to get the feel of that here on things. This doesn't have to be lightning fast. Remember, we're working on technique. What you want to concentrate on not only do you want to make sure that your footwork is correct, but your body and your posture is correct. So whenever you do a forward move, notice how I stay completely erect here on things. I step forward, my shoulders and body, shoulders and hips stay in a line. If I move to the side here and show you what it looks like in profile, by moving backwards, my shoulders and hips, again, stay in alignment. Move forward, everything is together in alignment. And I stay in my fighting stance. So for 1 minute on the clock, we're gonna move forward and back. Listen to the direction on things that we call out. Ready? Forward, 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 back, back, and back. Moving forward. 1, 2, 3. Moving backwards. 1, 2, 3. Forward. 1, 2, 3. Now what we don't want to do on this particular drill is we're not hopping, okay? We're just moving our foot. As Cameron just showed, this is not what we're looking for. We're looking for move that directional foot first, push off with the opposite one. So in this case, we're continuing to move backwards, back and push. Now we're going to move forward. Step forward, push, step forward, push, step forward, and push. Now step back, push, step back, and push, step back, and push. Recover. The next move on things here, we're going to do the same thing, the same drill, but we're going to add a punch to it at the end of every move here on things. So what they will wind up looking like is whenever we move forward, we'll have step forward and a punch. Step forward and a punch. Step forward and a punch. Stepping backwards, step back, punch. Step back, punch. Step back, and punch. All right? We're going to do that for 1 minute. Ready? And forward, punch. Forward, punch. Forward, punch. Moving backwards, backwards, punch. Backwards, punch. Backwards, and a punch. Step forward, 1. Step forward, 2. Step forward, 3. Moving backwards, 1, punch, 2, punch, 3, punch. Don't forget your hips whenever you do this. So it's not just your hand, it's the whole body. Move forward, 1, move forward, 2, move forward, 3, moving backwards, 1, move backwards, 2, move backwards, 3. Again, forward, 1, 2, 3, backwards, 1, 2, 3. Yummy. If you need to, give yourself a quick drink. We're going to turn our fan on here because it's starting to get a little bit of warm and things. Grab a quick drink. We'll be back out of here in just 1 moment. What I'd like to do is now do the same routine that we just did, moving forward and backwards, but we're going to do it with our non-dominant side. So if you are a standard fighter and you fight from a right-handed spot, as most of us are, this time you'll have your right leg in the lead, and we're going to go ahead and work this. The reason that we do this is so that we are able in a fight, and also later on in the session, be able to switch back and forth between the different sides. So for 1 minute, we're going to move forward and backwards, and then we'll do another minute drill forward and backwards with a punch. So moving forward, ready? 1, 2, 3. Backwards, 1, 2, 3. Remember, whatever direction you're going, that's the foot that moves first. 1, 2, 3. Going backwards. 1, 2, 3. Again, forward. 1, 2, 3. And backwards. 1, 2, 3. Forward. 1, and 3. Moving backwards, 1, 2, 3. Remember to keep your shoulders and hips in a line. 1, 2, 3. Backwards, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to shift back even a little bit further so that you can get a good look at my feet. Moving forward, 1, 2, 3. Take a quick break. Now we're going to add into it, same routine, forward and backwards, but we're adding punch at the end of each move. So we're going to have a jab there on that. So it will look like, again, on this one, our non-dominant side, because I'm a right-hander, I'm going to shift forward, and I throw that punch. Realize that your hips still come into the action on this here. That does not mean, though, that I wind up pulling myself all the way over here or shifting my weight this way here on things. We still want to keep a nice front stance, fighting stance maneuver on things. So 1 minute on the clock for this one. Ready? And begin. 1, 2, 3. Moving back. 1, 2, 3. Moving forward. 1, 2, 3. Moving backwards. 1, 2, 3. Moving forwards. 1, 2, 3. Moving backwards. 1, 2, 3. Forwards. 1, 2, 3. Moving backwards. 1, 2, 3. Continue. Forward. 2, 3. Backwards. 1, 2, 3. Forward. 1, 2, 3. Backwards. 1, 2, 3. Forward and backwards are very basic parts of things that we're doing in our fights and our movements. But we also have left and right that we wind up needing to be able to be aware of. We can apply the same principles, the same techniques, but instead of moving forward and backwards, we're going to move laterally, which means left and right. So the beginning ones are going to look, if I'm in my normal fighting stance, if I'm going to my right and your left, I'm going to step with my right leg, because that's the direction I'm going, push off with my left. Same thing again. Step right, push off. If I'm going to go left, the leg that's going in that direction is going to step that way first. So I step left, push off with my right. Step left, push off with my right. Obviously, we don't have as much space here to move forward as we did to move forward and backwards, but that's all right. We can just increase the number of times that we move left and right. We're going to have Cameron take a step forward here so that the two of us don't crash into each other as we maneuver left and right. So the first one, again, we're going to move left and right, not worrying about punching, not worrying about attack. The next round of it, we'll do it with a punch on things there. So 1 minute on the clock, moving left and right. Listen to the direction. So, moving to your right, 1, right, 2, left, 1, 2, push. Move to your right, 1, 2, to your left, 1, 2, right, 1, 2, left, 1, 2. Still stay in that front stance on things here, with our left leg in front. To your right, 1, 2, backward or left, 1, 2. Cameron is getting a little bit too sideways on things for this technique. We want to have, again, stay in our half front stance here on things, not full sideways on things. So continue, 1, 2, and back, 1, 2. To the right, 1, 2. To the left, 1, 2, and recover. Now on each time that you maneuver, I want you to throw a punch. It doesn't matter if it's the right hand, if it's the lead hand or the rear hand. I want you to go ahead and make sure that you throw a punch back and forth on this here. And it's even, a great idea for you to go ahead and mix up what the number of punches, the way that you're throwing your punches. Because that way you don't become predictable whenever we're fighting. So 1 minute on the clock here. Again, we're going to go ahead and do step to our right, punch, step to our right, punch, step to our left, punch, step to our left, punch. Doesn't matter, as I said, if it's lead or rear. It can be a jab, it can be a back fist, it can be a reverse punch or a cross. Either one works fine, but what we want to do is we want to get you comfortable in maneuvering left and right. So 1 minute on the clock, and begin. Moving to our right, 1. Don't forget our punch. 2, punch. Back to our left, 1, punch. Step, punch. Right, punch. Right, punch. Left, punch. Left, 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 punch. Move to your right, punch. Move to your right, punch. Move to your left, punch. Move to your left, punch. Move to your right, punch. Move to your right, punch. And y'all may. Now, as you can see, we're continuing to do things here. If we follow the format as we did with regards to the forward and backwards movement, we're now going to go ahead and do the same thing on our lateral movements, but we're going to switch our stances. So, if your left leg was out front on the last round, I want your right leg out on these ones. When we move to our right, again, my front leg, or whichever direction I'm moving, that leg is going to go first. So as I maneuver, 1, take a step, and push. If I'm going back over the other direction, I take a step, and come over. Take a step, and come over. Again, keeping in mind, I want to try to have as much of a straight up and down body as I can, and allow me to maneuver back and forth on things. So we've got 1 minute on the clock here now, of which we're going to move back and forth with your non-dominant side. So whatever side you are least comfortable fighting with, that's what we want to have out in front. So as we start, ready, to our right, to our right, to our left, to our left, to our right, to our right, to our left, to our left. Now, if you'd like to, you can add in an extra step here on things. Whenever you step to the right, get a nice big dip into it. To the right, nice big dip into it. Or as we refer to, a bob and weave. Step down and around. Totally up to you. That's just an alternative that you can add into the technique. To our right, to our right, to our left, to our left, to our right, to our right, to our left, to our left, to our right, to our right, to our left, to our left, right 1, right 2, left 1, left 2, recover. Now we're going to add the punch again. Again, I know this seems a bit repetitive, but the more times that you can get things into your head there and get the muscle memory moving forward on things here, the better off you will be whenever it comes time to have to just let it rip whenever you're in a sparring match. So, with your non-dominant leg forward, what I would like for you to do is throw a punch after each move. So if I'm moving to my right, move right, and I throw a punch. Move right, throw a punch. It doesn't matter whether it's a lead hand or a rear hand. I just want you to get comfortable with getting the movement and of your feet and your hands together here on things. 1 minute on the clock, left and right with a punch. Ready? Right, punch, right, punch, left, punch, left, right, punch, right, punch, left, punch, left, punch, right, punch, right, punch. If you'd like, go ahead and also get that bob in. So, it allows you to get 3 techniques that you can do on this here. A bob as we move, a movement and a punch, okay, and a rear hand punch. So, bob into our rear hand, bob into our front hand, or just movement on things here. 3 different techniques that you can do from the same stance. If you are going to throw that punch, make sure that you throw a good punch, that it's not just your arm that's throwing out there, that you use your whole body. Now, we've gone forward and we've gone backwards. We've moved left, we've moved right, and if you think about it, we've even fired Death Ray. But what I'd like to do now is I'd like to add a combination of our forward and backwards, left and right. And we're going to add diagonals on things here. Again, we're going to be staying with keeping ourselves in a very upright position, not allowing us to get out of posture. So, from your fighting stance, I'm going to move my lead leg, whichever direction, and I should say, whichever direction I'm going, that leg is going to move first. In this case, it's going to be my lead leg, which is my left leg, is going to go forward and to the left, and I push off with my right. Consequently, I can do the same thing going backwards into my right. So I can push off and come back to the right, okay? We're going to do that for 1 minute, and then we'll go ahead and we'll switch our stances and so that we're moving it forward and backwards on a diagonal with our right leg in the lead. This leads to then doing it with punches. So, first minute, on a diagonal, we're going to be moving to our front and left or our back and right. So, 1 minute on the clock and begin. So, forward, forward, backwards, backwards, forward, forward, backwards, and backwards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It almost feels like we're dancing, but, and actually, in a way, we are. And if you think about sparring, sometimes that is truly a dance that winds up having a little bit of pain at the end. Forward, forward, back, back. I would like for you to now switch your stance. We're going to do the same thing, but going with our other leg. So, what this will wind up looking like, whenever we're moving forward, is I'm going to be moving forward and to the right, or backwards and to my left. Now it ends up looking like this. 1, 2, backwards, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. Forward, forward, backwards, backwards. 1 minute on the clock. Once we complete that, we'll throw punches in for the first side and then the second side. And begin. So, forward, forward, backwards, backwards, forward, forward, backwards, and backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You always want to remember, keep your hands up in front of you on things, because whenever you get into a match, how many people have seen people that have hot dogged or have become exhausted, have their hands dropped down, and all of a sudden they're then tagged. So again, we want to keep our hands in a good fighting stance throughout all of these drills. recover. Now we're going to go ahead and, as I said, we're going to do a forward and backwards movement with our lead leg being our left, which at the end of each maneuver, each step, I want to see you go ahead and throw a punch. So, moving forward, again, it doesn't matter if it's lead or rear hand. We move forward, 1, move forward, 2, move backwards, 1, move backwards, 2. These are great techniques to use whenever you're trying to get out of the direct path of someone that's attacking you. So, you want to be able to move on things here and make sure that you also are making an attack. So, 1 minute on the clock, we're going to move forward and backwards, moving on a diagonal from our left and right, forward left and rear to the right. 1 minute with a punch after each technique. Ready? And begin. 1, 2, back, 1, 2, forward, 1, 2, backwards, 3, 4, 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 forward, 1, 2, backwards, 3, 4. Remember, whenever you throw those punches, still want to get those hips to maneuver on things here and drive through them. Because those times, those are the things that can wind up in a match being the points that you score. So forward, forward, backwards, backwards. We got one more diagonal to work on with the punches. Then we're going to work on putting it all together here on things. And that's where it becomes truly a special activity here on things. So, 1 minute on the clock, we're going to go ahead and move forward and backwards, but moving forward to our right, backwards to our left. So, this is again going to look like moving forward with a punch, moving forward with a punch, moving backwards with a punch, moving backwards with a punch. I don't care which side that you do it again, just as long as you are actuating all of those things and keeping yourself in a nice upright stance. It doesn't do you any good to be off the side here on things, because when those things happen, then you're out of position for the next move. So 1 minute on the clock and begin. Forward, 1, forward, 2, backwards, 3, backwards, 4, forward, 1, forward, 2, backwards, 3, backwards, 4, forward, forward, backwards, backwards, forward, forward, backwards, backwards, forward, forward, backwards, backwards. As you do these techniques, you're going to find there are certain stances that you're more comfortable throwing that punch on. It doesn't matter which is most comfortable. You do want to practice both of them, but be aware and know what's going to be best for your body type as we move. Our last part of this evening here on things, I want to take the 3 different directions that we wound up doing. Forward and backwards, the lateral movement, left and right, and the diagonal movements, and combine them together. So, what it will wind up has a tendency to be able to look like is, from our fighting stance, I can take a shift over to my right, and then a diagonal move to my front and left. Why is that important? Well, if I'm fighting someone, and I'll use Cameron here as my target here, and he comes after me, I can move over here, off to the side, and then come in for a strike from an angle on things here. Same thing can happen going the other way. He comes in, I can come here and hit them that way on things. So it gives you ability, it gives you mobility here on things. I can also maneuver back to the side and back if they come after me on things. I'm comfortable in making those kinds of maneuvers. These are different techniques than our standard C step that we wind up moving forward and backwards and forward. You can use these, all three of these moves in conjunction as well with our C steps. But tonight's focus has been on getting ourselves together in that half step, in that half shuffle, if you would, moving forward and being able to be comfortable and attacking with it. So we're going to go ahead and do a 1 minute on the drill here. What is going to be from our normal fighting stance, we're going to wind up moving to our open side and then diagonally into the target. And then we'll reset by making a step over, attack our target, step back to our original spot. We're going to make a triangle here on this. Then we'll go ahead and we'll flip it on its head. So 1 minute on the clock. Ready? We're going to go open side, diagonal with an attack, and step back. Open, diagonal, step back. Open, diagonal, step back. Again, keep yourself nice and straight. Remember your posture on things. That is something that will be a key point. Whenever you get to a point that it's really good and fluid for you here, it will wind up looking something like this, when there's very little pause in between. But again, you want to keep yourself upright and straight here on things. So, open side and attack, reset. Open side, attack, and reset. Open, reset. Open, attack, reset. Open, attack, reset. Open, attack, reset. Again, you can use either hand. As you get more advanced, you can also use kicks on this here. I find at the beginning stages here to wind up using your hands as a training feature here on things. Now, we want to do the same thing, but we're going to switch our stance. And so now we're going to be open, drive into the attack, and reset. Okay, but we're going to be, in my instance, moving to the left, whatever your open side is at this point, or your non-dominant side. So a minute on the clock. Remember to attack on the diagonal strike, and we'll move forward from there. So, ready? 1 minute on the clock, and begin. Move to the open side, diagonal with a strike, and reset. Open, diagonal, strike, reset. Open, diagonal, 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 reset. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. While that's a standard movement on things here, we can use this as well and change it up even more, where we can do a forward movement diagonally back as we did earlier, and then reset this way. Make sure that you use all of these different techniques and throughout your sparring techniques classes here on things. I hope that you guys had a great lesson tonight and learned something. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at the dojo. Have a great evening. I wish you all the very best. Good night. Yes.